So my uncle calls and he says he's dizzy and he's losing his balance. I'm like, Unc, you want me to take you to a doctor? He's like, no, I'm gonna look up the symptoms. I said, your symptoms are you're dizzy and you're losing your balance. So he said, I can't get on the internet because my arm is numb. I said, well, use your good arm and dial 911. Stroke's no joke. If you or someone you love is showing symptoms of stroke, don't wait because it might be too late. Dial 911. Time lost is brain lost.
Hello and welcome back to Road to Recovery on the Lancaster School Network and on WFCO 90.9 FM. It is a pleasure to have you joining us. This program is about hope and help and healing and wholeness for those who are struggling with addiction, whether alcohol or drugs or maybe some other level of addictive behavior. We want to provide opportunities for individuals to come on and share information with you that lets you know if you are struggling or a family member or friend is struggling, a neighbor, then you're able to provide them with some assistance, some ways to be blessed and encouraged and helped to get back to health and wholeness. It's really what we all struggle to achieve, and we are here to let you know beyond the shadow of a doubt there is help and hope for you through resources and agencies and individuals who know exactly what you're struggling with and are willing and able, wanting to help make things better for you and to allow you to get to where you would like to be, which is completely whole and happy and healthy in your life. Steve Rauch is my name, and our co-host is Trisha Saunders. She is the Executive Director of the Recovery Center. Thanks for coming back on with us.
Well, thank you for having us back.
One of the things that have happened on this program has really been astounding to me, and that is the way that people have responded. It seems that we've been able to touch a nerve on this issue of addiction, and because we're trying our best to provide individuals who can provide help and assistance with this struggle, and people have really responded well, haven't they?
Yes, they have.
We've had phone calls, Facebook messages, text messages. I actually got an email from a gentleman. I don't want to use his real name. We'll call him William. And he said, I recently read your article in the Lancaster paper about your program. And I'll say that was in the Lancaster Eagle-Gazette. Michelle George did the story, did a phenomenal job with the story, and we really appreciate the support from the Lancaster Eagle-Gazette. So he said, I recently read your article in the Lancaster paper about your program. I'm impressed and want to commend you on your efforts. I'm a recovered addict and have struggled for years with many things in life beyond the drugs. What you're doing is a good thing instead of just turning a blind eye to the struggles of addiction as most people do. Addiction isn't a sickness per se, it's a mask for a deep pain no one sees. I hope your program helps someone. And William signed his name. That's really what this program is about, to try to find a solution, to let people know there are solutions to these challenges. And William certainly understood that and really understood what we're trying to do on this Road to Recovery program. It is really incredible. You shared at an event that I attended, I believe it was the Solace Gathering, and you had some fabulous things to share about recovery, about what happens at the Recovery Center, and kind of a little bit of background information about this challenge of recovery and advances that have been made and so forth. And so if you're willing, I would like you to share a lot of that information on this program.
I'd be happy to.
Outstanding. So what is the focus at the Recovery Center?
Well, it's exactly what you always talk about, health and hope and healing. That's what we're about at the Recovery Center, so you hit the nail on the head with that. We are at the Recovery Center to provide a surrounding for people to come where they are in a safe environment and they can share what is going on in their life. We talk to them about their strengths and their weaknesses, things that are working in their life and things that they want to change. And then we focus on those issues and help them make some progress and improvement in their life to be more healthy and whole.
Well, you have some new surroundings at
Yes,
your
we
new
do.
facility,
Sure
and
do.
that is located
We are located at 201 South Columbus Street here in Lancaster.
Outstanding. Downtown Lancaster.
Yes.
And that location's been helpful even to those who are struggling with addiction, isn't it?
Yes, it has been very helpful. One of the things that we saw with the biggest barriers for people getting better in our community was that it was not accessible for a lot of people to come to treatment. The majority of our people come from the downtown area location, and it was a 2-mile walk each way. And when you have children, tagging along with you, that can be quite a challenge. So the location has already proven to be successful. People are showing up for appointments and very pleased with the environment that they're in.
And you're also providing even an area for children there at the
Yes.
Recovery Center, which I don't think you had before.
Right, and we have a lot of children that come to the Recovery Center. Many of them have parents with substance abuse issues, and they're coming so that the whole family system can become healthier, and to learn new ways that the family can work together and be healthy and functional. And we also have some teenagers that come in because they have had substance use issues. So we have people of all ages.
One of the things that happens at the Recovery Center is group sessions or group therapy. What are those, and why do you have group?
Well, it's very interesting. People will come in and talk to counselors individually in their private counseling sessions where they talk about more personal issues that they wouldn't feel comfortable sharing in a group setting. But we are very much group-based as well, so people will come into a group. Some of our groups are educational focused, where people just mostly listen and get information and resources. Other groups are very dynamic, and people participate in discussions in the groups. They, I think they build a lot of camaraderie with other people who are experiencing the same types of issues that they are, and they challenge each other. It's a very honest program, so people will speak up and say, hey, I don't think that that's working well for you, and this is why. I've been down that road, and so group therapy can be very crucial to a person's recovery.
Part of group is not just for the addict, but for the family members as well. Is that right?
Yes, and we have a special group for family members. It's a loved one support group, and it's typically either significant others or parents of people who have a loved one that has a substance abuse issue. And in those groups, they learn more about how to take care of themselves, how to not enable the person. So many times people try to do the right thing for somebody that they love, but what they end up doing is allowing or helping the person's drug abuse to progress by the behaviors that they exhibit. They're trying to be protective, but it doesn't turn out that way. So we have a group, and it's been very successful, and people just keep coming back to that. So.
One of the other parts of the Recovery Center is providing some medical treatment, or at least medical treatment options. Is that true?
That is very true. As you and I have talked, people, we need to look at people in a holistic way. If we only treat or help one aspect of a person's life, they're not going to get better. So recovery is a spiritual-based program. It's a physical program. If you have been using drugs, you may have some physical conditions that you have been overlooking. We also talk about the emotional aspect and the social aspect as far as your employment, the relationships that you have with other people, and if they're healthy or not. But medication is something that's fairly new for people who are especially using opiates. It's been used for people with alcohol problems for many, many years with success. What we're finding with opiate addiction is that people tend to have cravings for 9 to 18 months after they stop using opiates, and it's because their brain chemistry is messed up. Their brain is no longer making chemicals that it needs to for the person to be healthy. So when using medication, it helps reduce the cravings that the person has so that they feel better physically, and also some of the medication will help if the person is confronted with drugs. If they were to use a drug, they won't feel the effects of it. So it's really a wonderful, incredible way that our field is progressing. And I think some people even in our field still have a bias about that if somebody's in recovery for drug addiction, they should not be on any drugs. But there's a difference between drugs that are harmful and medications that are helpful. So the options for that are increasing. We have used Suboxone successfully at the Recovery Center for many people, and these people are now employed and taking care of their families and feeling good. Vivitrol is another option. It's an injectable form, so the person takes a shot once a month, and the Recovery Center is working toward providing Vivitrol treatment for people as well.
science continues to grow and
It does.
expand and help in this whole addiction process.
Absolutely does.
We talk on this program every time that there is hope and help and healing and wholeness, and some of the ways that happens is through medication.
Yes.
Not unlike if you have a headache or you've got knee pain or something along that line. This pain is partly a physical nature as well.
Yeah, and a lot of people who are recovering feel a lot more physical pain than the rest of us do because their buffer for pain has been eliminated. So their body has no ability to fight, or tolerate pain the way most of us can. So this medication is very important, and I stress to people we need to not let our biases get in the way of helping someone else.
Very well said. There's been a shift in treatment, some inpatient, some outpatient. Help us understand that better.
Sure. A lot of people will call us and say, my loved one has a drug problem, or I have a drug problem and I need residential treatment. And the thinking is that if you go put that person in a program where they're away from everyone for a long period of time, then they're going to get better. I have worked in those programs and know that they can be successful. However, they're extremely expensive, for one thing, and we've seen people go to these programs a number of times and spend $20,000 or $30,000 and not get better. When we are also seeing at the same time outpatient programs that are being successful. So again, it's important for us to not necessarily think one thing's better than another. People have to continue to deal with their life, their problems, raising their children, and all of the stressors that we all go through every day. In outpatient treatment, which is what we do at the Recovery Center, we see that people can go out and have a normal day and come into treatment and talk about it. So we are helping that person cope with life as they are coping with it. There are always going to be triggers and things like that that remind a person of using. But again, it's that decision each day and that support around the person that helps them to stay clean and sober. So research is showing that outpatient programs can be very effective, and that's why we have chosen to continue that route.
Very good. Got a couple of minutes left here. Prevention services is another big part of the Recovery Center.
Yes, it is. We believe so much, and research shows that we can prevent these problems from even happening. We have a staff of prevention specialists who go to the schools every day. They primarily work with the middle school and high school because we know that that's when students are most likely to experiment with drugs. And our youth behavior survey in our community is showing that the drug use is trending downward. So I think it's all of that great collaboration we have. But teaching resistance skills and information to students, our kids are smart, they just need the right information. So we have people who do that as well.
Very good. One of the other things that I love, 30 seconds on partnerships. You don't do this alone.
No, there are so many people in our community, and you are one of the greatest, the very, very big asset in our community to helping us. But our law enforcement, all of our schools, the list goes on and on. We have an opiate task force and a prevention works task force. So many people that come together, and all the layers of this problem we're all working on, and they are all so important. So we're very grateful for that.
It certainly is, and quite frankly, most of them volunteers.
Yes,
they're
they do.
members of the community. They have a day job, if you will,
Yes.
but they're so passionate about pulling together. It is the way, the most effective way, I believe, for a true wholeness and health and happiness to happen if we partner together. If folks would like to get a hold of the Recovery Center, how do they do that?
Yes, they can call 687-4500, and I'm always happy to talk. So.
Outstanding. Trisha Saunders, Executive Director of the Recovery Center, thanks for coming in and giving us that great look at what the Recovery Center does and the difference that's made in people's lives, and we encourage you to keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for Road to Recovery. We have talked with Trisha Saunders, Executive Director of the Recovery Center, and hopefully you understand a little bit more about the concepts and processes by which the Recovery Center works, and you understand the true help that is available right here in Lancaster and Fairfield County. Again, you can call 740-687-4500 and ask for help from the Recovery Center for yourself or a friend or loved one. Join us next week at this exact same time as we continue to travel down the road to recovery.
gets you moving.
Because when you get moving an hour a day,
You'll have the energy to skate through anything. So whether you like to work the half pipe,
Kick the soccer ball around.
or ride your bike.
carve out some time every day to get moving.
But do it your way.
Because it can be whatever you want it to be.
Just get active. Wrap it up.
Move it your way and be a player.
Get up and play an hour a day, Doc.
Check out how to be a player at letsmove.gov.
Head online to get tips on great ways to get moving every day.
That's www.letsmove.gov.